Yeah. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
His opening statement was
yeah.
great.
Go and join Bubba's channel, guys. He's
You're
like
gonna pop
Bubba
in there,
W.
dude. He's just gonna mute everybody.
He's just
Yeah,
gonna mute
I'm
everybody that like
the
asks him a question.
body of the winner. Who is Bubba?
Great question, Trans, by the way.
Says you fucking piece of shit.
Yo, Bubba.
Hi, CEO. It's the only thing that was really annoying, I suppose, was him trying to pigeonhole me after he accused me of pigeonholing Abismo.
What's
Yeah.
pigeonholing?
Force like trying to really force someone to believe something, kind of. It's like
Okay.
asking a direct line of questions, which is assuming a certain conclusion or belief.
You should unban me from the Catholics.
Yeah, unban him, bro. He ain't do nothing wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
It was, but yeah, Abismo.
Oh.
Not Abismo. He just kept trying to assert that I believe that Sapphire believes that the God is necessary and he's relational because he sustains the universe. I don't believe that.
What does he mean by relational?
Relational
sorry.
would mean I define it as the ability to have a relationship with, right? A being which you can have a relationship with.
Okay.
I think that's simple, but he
Wait,
said,
what's the argument for that?
the argument. I say that God is not relational, and he says that he is.
Yeah.
And the reason that God is relational. He said that the reason that God is relational is because it's necessary for him to sustain his creation. And I said, no, I don't believe that. And he kept trying to ask over and over
Wait.
for his entire cross exam that I have to believe that.
That's a crazy presupposition, though. What? That's a crazy presupposition, though. How would someone argue for that?
I don't know. You have to rewatch his whole cross exam.
Yeah. What the fuck?
And then he denied the Trinity.
Him denying the Trinity was wild to me. I did not think I was gonna get him to say something like that.
Is he like a Protestant or something?
No, he's an Eastern Orthodox. He is as anti-Protestant as you could possibly get.
Here's Sapphire denying the Trinity.
He is as anti-Protestant as you could possibly get. He gets pissed off at people like Rami and based theist and other Protestants on the server all the fucking time. I like Duck's questions. Duck asks the good questions.
Wait.
I like that you like my questions.
Wow.
Makes me happy.
The chat was licky.
Oh yeah, Abismo hates me because I destroyed him in my last formal debate, and he got very, very angry.
Wait, Abismo's what is he?
Oh,
He's the owner of the Ask the Catholics room, the one that's like up above the rest of the VCs.
Oh, okay, never mind. That thing was someone else. There's this guy named like Ask a Christian. He was like,
oh yeah.
He was trying to run tag on me, and I wrote him on what he means by like knowledge and what he means by reasoning, what he means by like what kind of logic he's using, and I got sort of muted.
Yeah. The only thing that I think that I could have done better, I suppose, was like, but I mean, actually at the same time I don't, is that Sapphire said he really didn't want to argue how he receives revelation, but I was forcing that conversation anyway. I didn't force him into any belief. I let him answer the questions. He just didn't want to talk about it. And I was like,
He did say personal revelation, but he never like showed it that he had personal revelation.
He said both. I'm not sure when. I would have to look for it. But he said both divine revelation and personal revelation is how he receives knowledge about reality. And yeah, I said, okay, then you have the exact same problem that I do.
So I missed that part of the debate. Was that supposed to be like ordinary actual reality as well as what like to suspend disbelief, like also what God must be like? Like
Wait.
What do you mean?
Like if God reveals himself personally as well as he just goes, you know, like what's up planet, then like so what does God talk about or something?
I don't know what you're asking.
Do you mean how does God divinely reveal himself to other people?
Never mind.
Like what's the method in which God divinely reveals himself?
I didn't say anything about the method. But...
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's when Bubba won though, because he just showed it was circular.
Me and Sapphire had that conversation in a different video. Here, I'm gonna. Oh, true, Abismo, you absolutely destroyed me and exposed me as a bad faith liar.
Wait, Bubba, you should ring the Cartesian demon next time you have a formal debate. Do you know what the Cartesian demon is?
I know.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Oh, wait, you don't. Wait, dude. This is.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I think I do. Here, Sapphire, in that video that I just posted in the side chat, that was like a week ago. That was a month ago, damn. Where this is where I originally called out Sapphire for a debate, a formal debate, in that, and he was right after the video ends, he's understanding how I gain knowledge under a deistic worldview, and he agreed with pretty much everything I had to say. Who's a toddler?
Dude, why are you like beating up toddlers? What is it?
oh, Sapphire? No, I see Sapphire as actually a very worthy opponent, much better than my last opponent, who's actually in the room right now. Hi, Sammy.
Can I have an opinion on something? I want to say something.
Yep, go ahead.
All right, cool. So I said this earlier in the text chat, but I think, sorry, I'm out of breath because I just did a jog. So I think that this debate is a really good example of like how you can be correct and still lose the debate. Because if Sapphire had been a semantic Andy and said, wait, no, this is the definition of relational, you already conceded that it is a kind of relation, then he would have won. But instead he got stuck in the weeds and started arguing that God is necessary to keep existing, and if he stopped existing, then everything would fall apart. No idea why that's the case, and I think he just embarrassed himself.
I think the question that you asked is one that I thought that he was going to ask, because he's asked it to me in the past, like shortly after I deconverted from Christianity. It's that, well, deism says you do have a relationship with God. It's like God caused you to exist, so it's a cause and effect relationship, right? Relationality. And I said no, yeah. but that's why I was very prepared when you answered me. Like, your very tough question got answered in like one sentence. It was like, oh yeah, that's a cause and effect relationship, not a personal relationship.
Yeah, if I was him, I would have dug my heels in at that point. I would have been like, hold on a second, but you can see that there is a type of relation. I basically win the debate if I do the semantic Andy thing.
Oh, here, let me answer Abismo's condescending question in the side chat. He said, the necessary logical relation between uncaused cause and first principle and what is caused. The relationality would be, as I just said, a cause and effect relationship, not a personal one. Which is what you...
Yeah, I just think that the Sapphire shot himself in the foot several times over, and you crushed it.
Yeah, but I don't even really know if I won, because there's haters like Abismo, right? And then there's also haters like
So Bubba, I got a point for you. I got a point. This is why I was on the fence about saying if you were HLN one. To me, deism seems like such a thin argument. So like, if I just say that, yeah, there's a God, but because at some point there has to be, but I can't experience him. I don't know. I'd have to really think to do anything with that or whatever. That's just like my smart person opinion.
The reason that I believe deism provides more explanatory scope and is not a thin argument is because it provides far, far, far more explanations for complex problems than it causes issues. What I mean by that is it answers the problem of evil, if you believe in God. It answers what caused the universe, which science can't answer. It answers divine hiddenness. It answers what else? It answers fuck, there's another good one, like supernaturalism. That like supernatural can't be the case because God doesn't interact with his creation.
Yeah.
I don't see anything that it doesn't really answer if you believe in God.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I think the fact that, you know, there are like 4 billion people on the planet, you know, and, you know, whatever, 12 or 13 of them are here that believe that God exists and, you know, is possible or whatever.
Hold on, buddy. There are 9 billion
really
people on the planet. Your numbers are way off. They're double it.
Yeah, but like the fact that, you know, deism has an explanation which a lot of people don't think monotheistic or polytheistic religions, any form of theism as the suffix provides, it's a really good point. Like, you know, why not?
Oh no. Yeah, hey Bubba.
Hi, buddy. You and Sapphire really, your method was so you trained Sapphire.
Pigeonhole me.
Just so everyone understands, Apophatic trained Sapphire for this debate, and your method was to pigeonhole me into believing to pigeonhole me into asserting that God is relational because he sustains the universe.
No, that was not the goal of the debate. You didn't even understand his opening statement where he listed the argument for you.
Yeah, you don't even have to say. I wrote down his entire opening statement. It's that deism is the impersonal God created the universe and doesn't sustain it. And he's not arguing for miracles or divine revelation. Things are preserved by either indirect or direct cause.
Yes.
And every effect depends on its cause in different ways. He said that and he gave the two analogies. This is the part where I'm saying you tried to pigeonhole me.
Oh,
Sapphire
no.
believes in the way that the light bulb causes the light, and it's dependent on the light bulb. And he also gave the analogy of the builder building a house. I said that I believe in the builder building the house is the case for the universe.
But you didn't understand his critique of that. That's the issue. He wasn't trying to pigeonhole you into that.
Yep.
The point, no. The point was...
I didn't, Happy boy, I didn't even finish what I was saying.
He didn't finish what I was saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
He said that God must sustain his creation constantly because, in the same way that water has the capacity to hold the heat of fire. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, I know, but he wasn't trying to pigeonhole you into that. You didn't understand his argument. He gave the two analogies as an example for different types of cause and effect relations. There are some types of cause and effect relations where the effect, right, does not have permanence, or there is some where the effect is sustained. The issue that you did not understand was that his argument was that deism,
the fundamental state of being itself.
Deism leads to where God is the cause of the becoming of something and not the cause or the source of the being directly. For if God were the source of all being, it would necessitate that he was necessarily sustaining being itself and existence itself, given the classical theistic arguments that even you would hold to as a deist. So the point is that if God being the source of all being, which is the direct causality through essentiality, is the necessary conclusion that it's going to lead to, that conclusion also leads to where God has to sustain said thing or said universe because he's sustaining existence or being itself. And the issue with deism leading to where God is only the cause of the becoming of being and not being itself is where it denies creation ex nihilo, which, by the way, in other cases, in other debates that we had previously, you did say creation was ex nihilo, that God...
I'm not muting you because I hate you. I'm muting you because I want to respond to your points one at a time. Just two things. One, I fail to see how you and Sapphire are able to come to the conclusion that God creating the universe ex nihilo means that God must sustain the universe because of ex nihilo. It's completely non sequitur. And you're right, I don't understand. I think it's lunacy. The other thing that you're saying is me not... what's the other thing that you're saying real quick?
Other than I'm saying concerning what?
The first part.
The first part of what?
The first part, I'm not understanding Sapphire's argument about God and it's necessitated that God sustains the creation.
The first part of what I said? The first part of what I said was that deism leads to where God starts the becoming of the universe, but is not the source of the being of the universe or the existence itself.
Yeah, I reject that.
Okay, and if you do reject that, it leads to where creation is not ex nihilo. That's the point. Because if God is only the start or the cause of the becoming of the universe, not the being of the universe, that means that, like the builder analogy, the builder has to build out of already existing materials. Starting the becoming of something...
Got you. I'm muting you not because I hate you. I want to say I don't know the methodology in which God created the universe. I make that very clear every single time throughout the universe, and I'm consistent every single time. And it is not necessary that God creates the universe ex nihilo, therefore, he has to sustain his creation. Or like, the way that I am is because God, it's just like, I believe in determinism, you know this. Every creation has a cause. So the reason I am the way that I am, the reason I have the nature in which I am, is because of the evolutionary process, which is caused by abiogenesis, which is caused by the earth being created, etc.
Yeah, so I would argue, right, that if you're saying that it doesn't matter whether God's ex nihilo or not, well, I think it does matter, because if God does not create ex nihilo, it leads to pantheism, because that means that he's creating already... I'll tell you why. Because it's saying that he's creating out of already pre-existing matter, meaning that matter is eternal, and actually there's nothing to differentiate matter from God, other than if God is not materiality. If you say
apophatic, I got a question on that. I got a question. So this is like a gotcha or like reactive a little bit, but like I'm always so curious when I hear this idea that matter even has a cause in the first place. Because why would that be true, right? How robust and how grounded in like a cause does that have to be? You know, why can't we just have a mathematical universe that just exists when it exists? Like, what's better about supposing that?
Why can't the universe be eternal?
Supposing that God does that. Yeah, yeah. Why? I didn't say eternal. You said that one again, but yes, exactly.
Okay, yeah, because I don't believe that actual infinites can exist. That would be the first reasoning for why. The second reasoning for why I believe the universe to be created and temporal, meaning it has a beginning, is because if the universe does not have a beginning, I think that it would lead to, and by the way, if we're assuming Bubba's deism here, it would lead to where you're not able to differentiate between the deistic God and the matter itself, other than the property of materiality and immateriality, which then would lead to a further conclusion that God is like eternally emanating, like some Platonic view, which leads to further issues that we can get into if you want.
That's like super fucking based Middle Ages, but okay.
Well, if you want to discuss emanationism and Platonism and how it leads to absurdity, we can.
And
I thought the fall of the Roman Empire.
The idea that deists can't discern the immaterial from the material is lunacy. It's like I make very clear that Sapphire is right. Actually, I make very clear that Sapphire is right about my whole worldview being basically a Frankenstein of a bunch of different philosophical ideas, deism, my rationale and my empiricism being and having trust in them being the basis of my understanding of knowledge. What else? Like subjective morality, determinism, all these things are a real Frankenstein put together of my worldview. There's no problem with that. So for me, the reason that I am able to discern the material from the immaterial is because I trust in my rationale is actually perceiving reality.
Based.
Yeah, because then you would say creation isn't a free act. So if creation,
I wasn't gonna say that in a million years. What the fuck are you talking about?
But you're not understanding my argument.
You haven't made one.
1 second, stop. You said that creation ex nihilo does not matter or not, but it actually does matter for deism. I'll tell you why it does matter for deism. Because in deism, it's a belief that God created the world and then left it, meaning that he can stop creating the world. But under emanationism, which teaches eternal creation, he has to actually be eternally creating the world. So creation wouldn't be a free act where you can just leave whenever he wants if you assume that the universe is eternal. So in deism, the universe cannot be eternal.
I don't assume that the universe is eternal. I don't assume
that ex nihilo. It's created ex nihilo then. It's created out of nothing.
And I say that the universe is in the state that it's in because there was a causality which leads back to its beginning. And I believe that the beginning would be God, which exists outside of time and space. Which the point is, is God relational? He exists outside of time and space. Therefore, it's impossible for us to have a relationship with him. And God doesn't. I don't even say outright I'm agnostic to the fact if he created the universe ex nihilo. All I say is that he has the ability of. I definitely did. I said that I was agnostic to it from the start, and really tried to.
That's the issue.
What I say is that God created the universe. He has the power of creation, whatever that entails. I've been saying it for months, because whatever God did to create the universe, he clearly had the ability to do it.
Okay, but as I said earlier, you can't just be agnostic to it, because under the deistic system, it's a watchmaker analogy where he leaves. He doesn't care about it. The point is that, okay, yes, the one that eternally emanates, or if this being, let's say the world wasn't created ex nihilo, that means the matter is eternally existing with him. The issue with that was that creation or creating the world would not be a free act, but a necessary flow of his own essence, i.e. Platonic emanationism. That is the issue at hand. Under the deistic system, God has to create ex nihilo. But if God creates ex nihilo, it goes into the direct causality, which assumes that he is preserving the universe in virtue of being the source of all being.
Okay, then if I were to say that God did create the universe ex nihilo. Sorry, 1 sec.
Love you, Bubba.
Love you, Matt.
Love you, Bubba. Say it back, please.
Okay. I have to go back. I have to go in just a bit, but answer. Yeah, you can give me your answer. I have to go.
If I were to, I'm just going to ask you a question because I genuinely don't know the answer. Like, so what is entailed then? You're sorry by saying that God created under deism that God created the universe ex nihilo.
Why does it matter? Or
Yeah,
what am I
like
entailing from that?
what?
Are you asking what I am entailing under deism
Yeah.
if God created the world ex nihilo?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm entailing that if God created the world ex nihilo, that means that he is the source of all being and of all existence, and not just merely the source of the becoming. Yeah, and not merely the source of the becoming of the existence. And if he is the source of all being and not just the source of the becoming of the existence, then that means that existence itself simultaneously depends on his own existence. It's not something that he can just run away from. That's the point.
That's something that I can't just run away from, or that he can't just run away from, that God just can't run away from?
He just can't run away from. No. If, as I said, if he is the source of all being, not just the source of the becoming of being or things that exist, it necessitates that if he were to see, he would have to cease to exist in order for being not to exist. That's the point.
The thing that the reason I disagree with that is because what I say is a necessary quality of God. Hi Yasmin, how's Yugi? Is that he exists outside of time and space. He exists in a realm which we can't fully comprehend. We don't know we can't comprehend what it means to exist outside of time and space.
How do you know that?
Can you comprehend? You can't comprehend the fourth dimension. If you say you do, you're a liar.
How do you know that? How do you know God exists not within time and space?
Because he created time and space. He has to exist outside of time and space.
How do you know that?
By necessity.
Why necessity? Why is it necessary?
Did you listen to my opening?
Why can't I assume B theory of time?
You can, but then it wouldn't be consistent with what I'm entailing is necessary for God to create the universe.
Yeah, you're saying, yeah, even the fact of God's existence is questionable here. So why do you have that?
It's if we're gonna say that God created time and space, that means that he had to exist at a time where time and space did not exist. Correct? Do you agree so far?
How do you have access to that knowledge, though? Epistemologically.
Because I trust in my rationale.
Not because you trust in your rationale. I'm saying, how do you get to the conclusion of God in the first place?
Cosmological argument.
Okay. The cosmological argument does not prove that the world didn't have a beginning. It only proves that.
So you agree with the cosmological argument. Why are you going against it?
I'm never going against it. I'm saying it just doesn't prove that the world has a beginning or not.
I didn't say it did. I said that it has to be created by a being. I said that the universe had to be created by a being with a consciousness.
Why? Why with a consciousness? Why can't it be just a Platonic ideal or a Platonic?
Because what the cosmological argument says is that
abstract objects do not create things.
What the cosmological argument says is that everything that has a beginning has a cause, and every cause is caused by a being with a creator. Or sorry, a being with a consciousness.
So you're saying that everything which is caused by a being of consciousness? That is the most retarded statement I've heard in my life. There are things that are caused all throughout history without consciousness by something else, like a billiard ball hitting each other.
What caused the billiard balls to hit each other?
What caused that?
Yep, what caused that?
The space around the billiard balls.
What caused the one billiard ball to move towards the other billiard ball?
Air around the billiard ball, possibly.
Get to the fucking point. What caused the billiard ball to move?
Possibly.
The air around the billiard ball.
Stop trying
energy.
To apophatic. You are now.
It's very simple.
You are now doing what you're accusing me of doing. You are running.
No, but you're giving an example.
You're just not engaging, right?
I'm asking you questions.
Giving an example.
It's the billiard. What caused the billiard ball to move was the pool stick. What caused the pool stick to move?
But you're giving an example where there is an agent. He's saying there are plenty of other things where there are no agents.
Yeah, I agree that. The thing is that I agree that there are cases where
it's efficient causality, though. How do you know?
Because I agree that there are things that were caused without an agent. But apophatic gave the worst example I've ever heard, which is a billiard ball moving. What caused the billiard ball to move?
You gave that example.
He gave that example. He gave the example of the billiard ball getting hit by another billiard ball. And
what about the actual point, though?
But that motion is...
So first of all, the point is that the billiard ball, the thing that caused the billiard ball to move was a person who hit it with a fucking pool stick, a being with a consciousness.
I mean, come on now, preach it.
Preach it, Bubba. The uncaused cause does not have to be an efficient causality, and your little cheerleader here should a little bit.
My cheerleader can say whatever the fuck he wants.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sure.
I love you too, apophatic.
Anyways, as I was saying earlier, not the uncaused cause does not have to be an efficient cause. Why can't it just be a final cause?
A final cause?
Yeah. Do you know Aristotle's 5 causes or no?
I think I've heard them before, but you can.
4 causes.
Okay, so there
Oh,
is
it's
sufficient
4?
causality, which would be 4 causes, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm interested too, actually.
Yeah,
material
first one
cause,
is
formal
material.
cause, efficient cause, and final cause. Interesting.
Yes. So the final cause would be the telos behind it. The efficient cause would be, it could be the agent, or it could be just what brings it into being. The formal cause could be what causes its structure or form, and then the materiality or the material cause is what something is made of. So, like for example, if you have a tree, the material cause would be wood, or for example, a wooden chair. Material cause would be the wood. The formal cause would be the blueprints to build a chair, like the structure, and the efficient cause would be the builder, right? And final cause would just be like the purpose behind the chair.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So like not every cause has to be the efficient cause, right?
So what caused energy?
What caused energy?
Yeah, baby.
I mean, in my opinion, I believe it's God.
Isn't it just like a transient property, something that comes in and out depending on motion?
Well, it depends. If you assume we're in an open system, but that would actually provide arguments for theism. Theists are the ones that have always believed in an open system, not a closed system, which atheists typically believe in.
Oh, I
So
don't know.
if you assume an open system, energy comes in and out, then I agree with you, because I agree with the God view.
No, I didn't mean energy comes in and out. I mean energy, like, sorry, maybe I misspoke, but
Okay.
It changes forms.
Yeah, it changes. Thank you so much. It changes forms.
Yes, energy just changed form. I don't disagree.
Yeah, I think that's like, I don't think God makes it. I just think it's like a transient property of.
Well, I think God creates energy, but I think that energy itself, right?
Is that the right wording though?
Form.
Apophatic? It transform, or I'm sorry, it changes form, or it just transfers.
I think it that's a good question. I think it probably transfers, but in that way you could say it does shape the form of something, right? Like
no, changing form. When you say energy changes form, that's like a technical term. It means is a different kind of energy, like a thermal energy and electric energy are two different things.
Right.
Well, I mean, like once we have the heat death of the universe, there's not going to be any more energy at all. Everything's just going to be frozen and static, right?
Oh, the energy is going to be
has an end. Why does it have a beginning?
Oh, I don't know what.
It cannot be destroyed.
Everything is frozen. The energy is still in the mass.
Sammy, you said energy cannot be created or destroyed, but the issue is that that's only in a closed system, right? So like,
So
I believe the energy. Huh?
What would create energy then?
God.
There you go.
Time, space, matter, and energy are all correlative. That's the theory of general relativity. So you can't have one without the other, right? And we can point back to a time, Big Bang, and people will say, well, the Big Bang is the expansion of the beginning of the universe. We can point to a singular point that Hubble discovered. If we rewind all the way back, there's a single point where time, matter, space, and energy began to expand. So that singular point can be a marker for the beginning of the universe. And I would just argue that if we assume your closed system, Sammy, that would mean that if entropy were to be eternal, that it'd be infinitely expending energy. So it'd be expending energy infinitely to the past. We would have heat death already by now. That's the issue. So in order... Yeah, go ahead. Teach kids.
Yeah. I mean, that's one theory, I guess. That's not how I think of how things began. I think of time as more like a Mobius strip, where like after the heat death of the universe, there's some other fundamental force of the universe that has not been observed or explained that will cause all the space dust to come back together.
This is all theoretical, right?
No, but that's
absolutely theoretical. I have no evidence for this whatsoever, but it's as good as any other explanation that has no evidence.
You're describing an agent because not only do you have to reassemble anything the way you just said, you also have to decrease the total entropy of the universe in a very specific way.
Yeah, there's
like
some fundamentally.
Entropy is correlative with matter. That's the point. If entropy has an ending where it winds all the way down, then matter itself has an ending, and matter ends with it because it's all correlative. So there can't be another force of the universe per se, because the only forces are matter, time, space, and energy, and that all ends when entropy ends because it's all correlative with each other. That's the entire point of why I brung up earlier why they're correlative, is that if entropy is going to come to an end, all of them are going to come to an end. That's the point. There can be some forces after.
Does it have to though?
Yes, because they're all correlative.
We've never
Okay,
observed...
do you believe Einstein's theory of general relativity, why they're all correlative?
I think we've always observed it, but I can't say it's always the case.
Okay, so apart from that, I'm gonna just employ Occam's razor here.
Okay, I mean,
Because
that's...
you have to have another more underlying assumption, right? And I actually know how to define it.
Wait,
Unlike
hold on a second. What is your understanding of Occam's razor?
that the argument with the more or less amount of assumptions is most likely the truest one.
No, that's not
That's
Occam's
not
razor.
razor. That's not
Yeah,
Occam's razor. You want to hit him with it, Bubba?
Yeah, Occam's razor is the fucking belief that the simplest belief is the true one, not the one that holds the least amount of presuppositions.
That's literally what you said.
The least amount of the least amount of presuppositions is not the same thing as the one that is the most simple. The least amount of presuppositions. A presupposition could be complicated as fuck. Okay.
I said the most simple before you got here. Whatever.
Wait.
I said the most under assumptions.
Hold on a second. Occam's razor, as Occam himself wrote it, is that you should not add unnecessary details onto true propositions. You can if you want to, but it's not.